hello, we hope you've had an amazing week. All of the Kings Club team, we miss you and we can't wait to see you again properly when we can all be back together again. And today we're starting our brand new series which is called Miracle Maker. And over the next few weeks we're going to be looking at some of the miracles that Jesus performed, starting today with Jesus' first ever miracle, which is when he turned water into wine at a place called Cana. But before we hear the story of that, we've got our Bible bit for today, and it comes from God's special book, the Bible. It's from the New Testament, the book of John, and it's from John chapter 2, verse 11, and it says this: Jesus showed his power and his followers believed in him. Let's say that all together. 1, 2, 3. Jesus showed his power and his followers believed in him. And that's from John chapter 2 and verse 11. And when Jesus performed his miracles, he showed his power. And those words from John chapter 2 verse 11, they come just at the end of that story of Jesus turning water into wine that we're going to find out about in a moment. But before we do, we've got one of our fantastic Kings Club songs, God Can Do Anything, Anything at All. You can remember how the actions go. It goes, God can do anything, anything at all. God can do anything, anything at all. Nothing is too big for him, nothing is too small. God can do anything, anything at all. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner, don't you limit what he can do. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner, don't you limit what he can do. And you'll remember it goes faster and faster and faster. So here we go. God can do anything, anything at all.
God can do anything, anything at all. God can do anything, anything at all. Nothing is too big for him and nothing is too small. God can do anything, anything at all. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. God can do anything, anything at all. God can do anything, anything at all. Nothing is too big for him and nothing is too small. God can do anything, anything at all. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. God can do anything, anything at all. God can do anything, anything at all. Nothing is too big for him and nothing is too small. God can do anything, anything at all. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. God can do anything, anything at all. God can do anything, anything at all. Nothing is too big for him and nothing is too small. God can do anything, anything at all. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. Don't put him in a box, don't shove him in a corner. Don't you limit what he can do. Yeah, yeah.
Just what I need on a day like today. Nice, refreshing Coca-Cola. Absolutely gorgeous. You can't beat Coke, can you? Oh yeah. Just the thing. Really hitting the spot. Oh yeah. I'm out of Coke. No more Coke left. Well, I have got some water, but you see the thing is that I can't turn water into Coke by simply pouring it back into this can. That's not going to work at all. But you know what? That's just like something that Jesus did. He didn't turn water into Coke, but he did turn water into wine. And he could do that because he's the miracle maker. He is powerful. Let's watch this story together.
Bonjour, mon ami. Parlez-vous français? Non? Pardon-moi, pardon-moi. Hello, hello. My name is François. How are you? I am the head waiter here at La Maison du Vin restaurant. Welcome, welcome. Bon appetit. This is the best restaurant in the whole of Cana, which is in Galilee, where only the best will do.
Head chef, I get full of complaints out there. It is ridiculous. Nobody likes your food. You are a useless chef. You should be out on the street cooking for the peasants. And what are you looking at? Get washing up. This is a disgrace. What a stupid restaurant. No hard feelings, chef. No hard feelings, chef. Okay.
Oh, we have been very busy here ever since the miracle. In all my years as a head waiter, I have never seen anything like it. Never. In all my life. It was during a wedding, how you say, reception. Here at La Maison du Vin, we pride ourselves on providing the best food and the best wine to help celebrate the marriage. Oh, I love a good wedding. Kiss, kiss. I do. And this one was no exception. Oh, there was a beautiful bride, a handsome groom, and very important guests. Everything had to be perfect. Oh, and it was. Only one small, teensy-weensy, petit poivre problemo. The wine was running out. Impossible. Michel, one of my little waiters, broke the news to me. François, the wine, it is no more. It is fin. The wine cannot run out at a wedding. This was worse than anything. The last time I got this worried was when I got my onions stuck in my bicycle chain. This was a disaster. Oh, the father of the bride, he was beside himself. He was furious. This was going to be the most humiliating moment of my life. I would get the sack. It was my job to make sure there was enough wine at the wedding. My life was ruined. Ruined! Surely now I would have to return to shoveling muck in my father's farm back in Provence. But wait, who was this picking me up off the floor? It was one of our distinguished guests. His name was Jesus. He was a rabbi. Oh. He told me to fill the jugs with water. Fill the jugs with water. Water! Waiter! Water! Waiter, water! Just do it, he said. This will be my first miracle. And there was me thinking he knew what he was doing. But we were desperate. I would do anything. So we began to fill up the jugs of water. I don't see the point of this. What a stupid thing to be doing. What is this? It cannot be. It's a miracle. A magnificent Pinot Noir with a hint of vanilla, blackcurrant, with a mellow bouquet and a smooth finish. This is the best wine I have ever tasted. A miracle! A miracle! But who is this Jesus? We had never seen anything like it. But why did he do it, you might ask? Nobody knows. Maybe he just cared. He didn't want to see the bridal party upset. And he didn't want to see me losing my job. But whatever. Here's to Jesus, who turns the water into wine. I wonder what else he can do. Au revoir.
Now, if you promise you're not going to laugh, I'm about to show you a picture of me that was taken at my wedding. So here goes. Look at me. Look how young I look. Look, no grey hair. How handsome I was. I am. And Jesus was at a wedding. But the wedding that Jesus was at, it could have ended in disaster because they discovered that the wine had run out too early. And it wasn't like it is today. They couldn't just nip down to Tesco and buy some extra wine. It wasn't like that. And like I say, the wedding could have ended in disaster. But not only was Jesus a guest at that wedding, but there was also this lady in this picture here, Mary, Jesus' mum. And Mary had grown up with Jesus, or she'd watched Jesus grow up. She'd spent 30 years watching this boy grow into a young man. She knew he was special. She knew that he'd come from God. She knew that he was no ordinary man. And she believed and trusted that he could do something special at the wedding. So when Mary spoke to the servants and she said to them, do whatever Jesus told him to do, it was because she really believed that he could do something miraculous at that wedding. And it's a good job that they did exactly what Jesus told them to do, because he managed to save the day. He turned all of that water into wine. And what we need to do is we need to be more like Mary, putting our trust in Jesus, knowing that he's no ordinary person, that he is special, that he is God's son, that he can do miraculous things. And I suppose we also ought to be like the servants as well, doing whatever he tells us to do. Sometimes the things that Jesus might ask us to do, they might sound a bit odd, a bit weird, maybe a bit difficult. But we can always trust that they're always the best things. And like we saw in that story, by doing what Jesus told them to do, they saved that wedding and it was an incredible success. So remember that. When Jesus tells us to do something, we can always trust that it's going to be the best thing. Let's remind ourselves of our Bible bit one more time. Remember, it came from John chapter 2, verse 11, and it said this: Jesus showed his power and his followers believed in him. Jesus showed his power and his followers believed in him. Listen, you have a great rest of the week. We'll see you midweek for our midweek Extra Kings Club. We'll have another craft for you to do. Maybe Chunky Monkey will be back and we'll see you then. Have a great week.